Well, hello and welcome to today's Arts and Wellness Cafe. I am so glad you could join me. Now, have you got something to drink? Because you need to sit down. This is one of the best months ever. It's better than any other month of the year. So I can say that because, well, have you got your drink? I've just got some water. It should be in a glass container, but needs must. Anyway, so why is this month the best month ever? Can you think? 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's my birth month. Yes. That's why it's one of the best months ever. Now, I'm sure everybody else born in every other month can probably or will probably say the same for this themselves. But anyway, so we've got a lot of things happening, and I wanted to share that with you early on during the month as we go on. And you know, there's for the rest of the year, it's kind of like back-to-back stuff happening, and so we're going to just talk about a few things. And I think the theme for this month is consistency, and we'll go into that a bit more. So we've got, as I said, we've got some exciting announcements at the beginning of every month anyway. I release my mixed media digital art papers, so if you head over to Patreon, you'll see it's 4 sets, one on the free tier. There's a $3 tier, a $10 tier, $15 tier, and they all have digital art papers that are released. You see the sun the dappled sunlight coming in. Anyway, so as I said, the theme is consistency and showing up and being diligent, but in terms of the thing that you need to do and the things that make up that thing. Because we have our goals of what we want to achieve, but when you break that down, it might just be, okay, today I need to go to bed early, or I need to eat nourishing food so I've got the energy, or I need to get some exercise. So all of those things kind of add to the goal that it is you say you have. And you need to look holistically at the goal itself, and not just view it in isolation and say, yeah, one day I want to do this, but what does it take for you to actually do those things? So that then falls into the tip for the month, which we usually do a bit later on, but you might as well have it now. The tip for the month: stay consistent, be thorough, be diligent in terms of the things that it is you have to do. You don't have to do it perfect, but don't cut corners. I was going to say stay the course, and but it's not cutting corners, and it's doing the things that you know need to be done, rather than shortchanging yourself, because often it's yourself that gets shortchanged if you cut corners or you say, oh, I don't want to do it now. And there's one of the things that I always say is that so I don't believe in luck. Oh, you're so lucky, or it's just hard work. It's you put the work in, and these things happened. Or I was consistent. I showed up every day. And so it is about opportunity being always there. There's always opportunities around, but are you able to meet them when they come? Or when they do come, are you able to execute whatever it is you need to do? Do you have a body of work that you can exhibit right away? Or, have you been doing the work that it takes to put up that course? And so you need to look at all of the things that you're doing and think about, well, what is it I need to adjust or change, or make some changes so that I can then be where I need to be, or where I feel I need to be, or where this list of tasks that have been broken down say that that's the next thing that needs to be done. And often, you know, if you make a list, when you're not feeling it, you just follow that list. You know, there's many a time where I'm feeling, I say, off, and it's just, sometimes it passes. It's a thing that just suddenly you feel away, and you're not sure why you feel it, but you can't think about, oh well, perhaps it's not, I'm not supposed to do this thing. It might be that actually I'm tired. I didn't get to bed until late last night, so I'm feeling tired, so I need to go and take a nap. Or I haven't been drinking any water, and this feeling I think I'm feeling is actually my brain cells saying we're thirsty, need some nutrients to be able to function properly. So often it's not, oh my gosh, you know, everybody's got it out for me and all of this. It's just, no, you're not feeling how at your optimum because you haven't taken care of yourself, or you know, you just need to actually go out and get some fresh air. So those are the things that you often need to think about before you start blaming. Okay, yeah, you know, I'm having a valley experience, and you know, the whole world is against me, the enemy is this and that, and you know, it's coming in like a flood, and I just don't know which way to turn. It could be, okay, let me go into nature and be still for a moment. Let me listen. Let me plant my feet on the ground, on the grass if you can, or the sand, or, you know, in your back garden, you know. Or let me get some Epsom salts and put it in a foot bath and just soak my feet. You know, it could be as simple as that. Let me put some essential oils in there, or let me, you know, light some essential oils, not a candle, because some of these candles, unless they're made with essential oils, they've got all of these harsh chemicals in, and we are trying to avoid, you know, the man-made fabrics, fibers, the plastics, not only in our food, in our water, everywhere. Have you heard of a mishwak stick? It's supposed to be good in terms of cleaning your teeth. I've got a neem tree, so I often use cut the branches. Use the branches as a toothbrush. But no, if you take the smaller branches, you can, you know, cut them, and some, you know, the smaller branches are usually like that size as a pen, and then you fray the ends, and then you can use that. And then you have to be careful though with this bit. Cut them into thin slices, like the size of a toothpick, so that you can use it as a floss. Because now we've got the, you know, the dental floss is made of plastic, and every time you use it, it's shaving it off. And then when you wash your man-made clothes in the machine, then they're fraying, and then you got all of those like tiny bits of plastics that are absorbing into your body. And I think there was this I saw this post where they were looking under a microscope, and they could see the microplastics actually in the cell, or in, you know, like this what are they called? But anyway, they were looking under a microscope, and they could see that in the blood. And it was just like, oh my gosh, we have to be so vigilant now, especially with the rise of all of these illnesses and diseases. And you just think, was it like that in my parents' day, or was it that they just didn't, you know, it wasn't as widely talked about? But now we've got instant media on our phones. Anyway, arts and wellness. So the arts and wellness part is, you know, staying consistent, thinking about what you're doing, thinking about your health, thinking about all those things that can impact on your life, and make sure that they're aligned and in place before you start taking the antidepressants. And the best antidepressant is, you know, what God's given us: going outside, praying, putting your feet on the grass, going to the beach and having a sea bath, and just look out at the horizon and just marvel at the creation and marvel at what you have and the resources that you have, okay? And step it up. Okay, so let's look at things that have been happening. So we came to the end of the challenge. July, I did the Filling the Creative Well blog series challenge, 31 days of inspiring you with art and creativity and examples of what you can do in your own practice, and just small things that you can do to feel that well, because it's like, you know, you're walking around depleted and you're running on empty. There's nothing in the tank, and just a small little exercise will help you feel a little better. And it doesn't have to be, you know, this big long 2-hour project. You know, you can do some short things, and that's really what the 31 days was about. Looking at some of the things that you can do. You don't have to do everything. Take one of the suggestions, and then there were you know, some other nuggets that you can maybe think about, things to take away, you know, thoughts to take away. So yeah, that was the month of July, and that really stretched me. And I'd initially done it as part of the Ultimate Blog Challenge, which happens twice a year. But I realised that what I couldn't do, because I just didn't have, you know, sometimes you have to look at something and you have to say, well, okay, I can do this part, but this bit I'm not able to do because I've just got so much to do. And one of the things that you were supposed to do was post it to their particular site and then comment on 2 other bloggers. And then I think I got halfway through, and then it was just like I was backed up, like running behind, like delayed basically. And the only way that I could continue is if I cut that particular part of it out and just showed up to blog, because essentially that's what I was supposed to do. So all of the posts that I did, what I've done is placed it on my course platform, and I'll be working to put some audio files on there and just some, like, a tracker and stuff like that, so you can still have access to that for free. And any time you need to dip in and dip out, you can, you know, look at some of the suggestions. There's going to be, it's, as I said, it's not a precursor for the Filling the Creative Well full course, but the full course goes into a lot more project details. So we've got collage, we've got colouring books, we've got fabric bowls, we've got journaling, we've got a whole range of things. There's 7 modules, and it audio files, affirmations, and it goes into a lot of detail. And sometimes, you know, you may not feel ready for that, because what you need to do initially is develop your practice and develop showing up. So that's what the challenge is about. That's the free thing. You can, you know, show up and, you know, see how you go. Then there's a smaller kind of I'm thinking like a step up. So it's like a ladder, you step up, but ultimately when you do, or if you do the Filling the Creative Well full course, this is about your daily practice. It's not just I do the course and I forget about it. I mean, some of the things that you may do in the course, like say making the fabric bowls, you may not make those again, you know, or you may, there may be some aspect of it that you decide that actually you want to take this further. I mean, with the fabric bowls, there is associated with encouraging words, and so this is where you house your encouraging words. So and then, you know, there's so much really. So there's a middle section in terms of, okay, you do the free thing. There's a smaller fee-based course that takes it a bit further, and what I do in that is I actually do some video exercises. So as I say, there's 31 days of prompts. So each day we'll have a video session that you can follow along with. I guess some people find it challenging to, you know, jumpstart it for themselves. So this is the next kind of in between. And then, as I say, you've got the full course. So that was, I really enjoyed that. And I've had some really nice feedback from people who had been following along. And, you know, those things are kind of evergreen in the sense that, you know, you do it 1 year and you might think, okay, I'm going to do it with different supplies, or I'm going to focus on, say, you may have decided, right, for each of the challenges, I'm going to do something to do with fabric. And so for each one of those, you know the drill. So, or watercolor paints or acrylics or whatever it is, and you then do the challenge. Or it might be that you want to write a poem each day based on the challenge and pulling out some of the techniques. Yeah, so it's a really nice way to incorporate that into your daily practice. So the other thing, there's a few things that have come out this month, and I'm holding the best exciting news till not the end, but every month I release my digital papers, but there's a lot that you get over the month, and again, it's about dipping in, dipping out. I've tried to structure it in a way that it's organized so that you can see what's on the different tiers. Patreon brought out collections for you can store things in collections. So because I'd already had about like 300-400 posts already that had been out, not everything is under a collection yet, so I'm still working on it and trying to get everything under the collection. So if you're on if you want to know what free posts there are, you just go to the free post collections and they'll all be there. But it's got a nice kind of way to organize the posts, and we're kind of pushing over 800 posts, so it's just like, oh my gosh, you know, and I think it's a great resource, and I'm thankful to all of those that are members of my Patreon, and I look forward to welcoming you if you haven't yet had a chance to check it out. We've got, we normally do early release. We've got the digital products and images that come out that you can have access to. So, and as I say, they get early release to certain videos, some of my YouTube videos as well. Mentioning YouTube, there's another facility that I've got access to, which is memberships. So we've now got memberships on YouTube, and I'll be putting some of again, there'll be certain early releases there that you can have access to and watch before it goes out to the public. So I can't hold back any longer. I have been a teacher on Fodder School, and there is a collaboration between Foamies and Fodder School and me, and I've designed 6 images, 6 figures I had originally had them as digital products, so they're still on my Etsy store alongside a whole range of other digital figures, but these have been made into foam stamps. And Cole was getting a bit restless, so I thought I would come out into the garden, and it's just so nice and cool here. Behind me, this is my canistel tree, and look, you can see some, it's got some buds there, so it's going to be producing some fruit. So, but this is one of the things that I'm talking about. Sometimes you just need to change your environment. Like in the studio, the sun's coming in through the glass, and it's like I'm in an oven, I'm roasting. And Cole was getting a bit antsy, so it was just like he needs to just come out here and sniff some of the things. So anyway, what I was saying was the Art Foamies, a collaboration between Art Foamies Fodder School and myself as the designer. There are other teachers who also have created some foam art stamps, and I have 6 designs, and they're in sets of 2, and they're female figures. Some have a blank face so that you can put features in if you want. Some have their eyes closed, and some have their eyes open, with head wraps, African hairstyles like the Bantu knots. And I'm really pleased that they've become foam stamps. They're really nice to handle, really nice size, and and I'm getting bitten. My legs. So we are going to relocate again. We go back into the studio. 3, 2, 1, back in the room. Anyway, so the size, I was saying, it's a really nice size, and this one's Uplift. They've all got names, and Cozy, Bantu Knots, Uplift, Beacon, Wrapped Vessel. And I'm inspired by, African hairstyles, natural hairstyles, and some of my women have the neck rings, this kind of elegance in the neck rings, and it's they're a pleasure to create. I love creating them. So I will be sharing how I've used them, and you can stamp with them, with ink, onto paper, onto fabric. Yeah, I'm really pleased. I'm really pleased that, they're finally here and available, and I look forward to seeing, what other people do with them and how they incorporate them in their mixed media projects. And of course, if you, I'll leave all the links below to get the actual foam stamps, but as I say, I do also have digital art figures that you can also get from my Etsy, so the link there is below. And with the digital ones, you're able to reduce the size and or make them bigger, so yeah, they're there as well. The other thing that happened, I collaborated with a young man called Razi Fi, and he has a podcast called Yahsae Bloom, and so we did an interview and we talked about creativity. It was really nice to be able to talk with somebody who is very similar in the sense that you like doing multiple things and you get excited about doing different projects, and you execute them. And he's got a podcast that he on Spotify, and I'll leave the links as well, where he has interviewed quite a few artists, creatives, basically. So we had a really nice discussion. So over the weeks, I'll be releasing snippets of that discussion. And if you want to check out the full length, you can, I'll leave the link to his Spotify, and you can check it out there. So yeah, that would be nice. It would be nice to do more of those, because it's always it's always a nice thing to have a chat with another artist who's really kind of passionate and inspired, and you know, you still have life to do, and you still got your bills to pay or whatever it is, but it's the passion and the growth that you get from doing something that you really love. And you know, so you sometimes say, oh, you know, yeah, even if I wasn't paid, and I've not, there are times where you're not being paid, but it's what I enjoy doing. You know, I'm not being paid to do Arts and Wellness Cafe, but I really enjoy doing it. So it's about the things that, you know, really light you up, and is part of your mission. I believe that, you know, we're all on, well, you find out, you may not believe that now, or you may not be on it, or you may understand when I talk about, you know, your creative mission. And it is really about unearthing all those things that you've always wanted to do, and seeing where, if you actually did this, where would it lead? You know, who could you inspire and motivate? You know, it's not just about, I do art to sell it to make money. Yeah, you need to, you know, the light company or the water company do not accept for the love of it, you know, can we just but they will threaten disconnection if, you know, you haven't met that month's payment. So on the practical side, you need to pay bills, sort yourself out and live. But there's a mission wrapped up in the creative practice that we're doing, the stories that we need to tell, the stories that we need to tell for the next generation, the stories that we need to tell about what you're doing in this life. You know, this life is not just about what influencers are doing and all the banal kind of activities that people get up to and you see in the news. It's about the reality of what people are going through, some of their struggles, the fact that half of the world's population do not have enough for their basic needs. And how do we impact? And you might say, well, how's painting a picture gonna, you know, help somebody? But it's the fact that you might do something that encourages and inspires somebody, who then goes on to inspire somebody else who has like loads of money that they're going to give to an organization. Or you might send a postcard that you've painted to somebody in a war-torn country, who's, you know, day in, day out, they're just surrounded by rubble, and then they receive your card and it lifts their spirits. Or, you know, you might put together a fundraiser of all of the, you know, get a group of artists together and you all create something that's sold, and then the money then goes to that war-torn country. And there's so many people suffering at the moment in Sudan, in Congo, you know, Gaza, all around the world. There is something happening. There are people who are living below the breadline, who are starving, who are, you know, afraid, who some just need lifting up, motivating, encouraging, inspiring. They just need to see something that you've done, and it will, you know, encourage them to step out and do as well. So we're all connected, and I've said that before. I think I said it in our last Arts and Wellness Cafe, but we all need to do more. And so, you know, talking about your art, creating the art, sharing your art, and being consistent. And it's, you know, yeah, sometimes, you know, the day feels like, Lord, I can't do it. But you need to pick yourself up. You can't dwell in the mix up. You've got to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and try again. So, as I said, next month, if you're on fodder school, and you can take it any time because all the lessons are self-contained. You know, in the beginning of the month we make. So at the beginning of next month, I'm working with fabric, and I show you different ways in which I will, you know, paint on fabric, you know, create, make marks on fabric, and show you different ways you can decorate the fabric, create your own painted fabric. And then in the second half of the month, we use that fodder and we create some beautiful wall hangings. And I could show you I can give you a peek at one. That's a kind of example. And these, the wood is used from my garden. It's moringa wood that I've harvested and dried. And yeah, so, you know, at the end of the month we take everything, all of the painted fabric, the stamped fabric and everything, and we bring it together. And as I said before, you know, now that I've got my art foamies, you'll also be able to see how I've used the art foamies and worked with the fabric. So I'm excited for that, and yeah, look forward to sharing that part. And for the rest of the year, we've just got a lot of other teaching opportunities that I'll be part of, that I hope you can join us for the journey, but more information will be coming soon. So remember the tip for the week. We're going to try and do another midway arts and wellness cafe, but the tip for the week is about consistency, about, you know, staying consistent, breaking things down if you need to, and then, you know, tackling them, and not being afraid to take a step back, you know, change your environment, go out and get some fresh air. It's cooler, it's warmer in here than it is out there. It is like, am I glistening? I feel like I'm glistening. So we are going to love you and leave you, and then obviously we've got the material musings where I'm on my 4th Kawandi, and I'm excited to be working on that. It is really kind of quite a soothing activity, so I really enjoy it. So stay blessed, you know, stay consistent, stay at it. Remember the gifts that you've been given. Remember the people that you inspire, and sometimes you never know how many people that you inspire. Remember the people that are motivated when they see you get up and do what you do, because they aspire to, you know, do some of the things that you do, and the things that you often, you know, take for granted. You just think, oh, what this, you know, and it's just like, oh my gosh, I wish I could do that as well. So count your blessings one by one. Remember that you are a gift, and continue to shine your light. Stay blessed.